Hi, good evening mga katribu. Welcome to our post-event analysis of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos' third State of the Nation address, where he outlined the administration's achievements, upcoming initiatives, and the key national issues he wanted to address. So I am Chito Lozada.
And I am Teddy Montelibano. Tonight we are joined by the Chief Economist of RCBC to share with us his thoughts and insights on the just concluded State of the Nation of our President. Welcome to the show, Mr. Michael Ricafort.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone, and
Hello. Hi.
your viewers.
Uh-huh. So how do you assess the address of the president? Was it spectacular or?
Can we have your reactions or how would you respond to it, sir?
Well, actually, for those of us who cover markets every day, the economy in particular, and business, so it's all familiar territory to us. It's just a matter of emphasis to really, uh, to really, well, to highlight the most important ones for enable for everyone, well, including the common person, to really fully understand and be well. If there's a need to rally, also to highlight the important, well, the key, well, the most important items. But it's simplistic, and of course it appeals to well, to whatever is also popular
Yeah.
when it comes to, well, of course, but it's also, well, at least decisive also, especially on vote. Well, well, everybody's waiting for that, so for quite some time. So finally, it's there. It's very clear.
On Pogo.
Well, it was really reserved for during the SONA.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a fantastic capping.
The best for the last.
Yeah, save the
best for
the
the
affirmation of the commitment to, stand by or to protect the WPS from aggressors and go to Pogo. Wow, fantastic! What a cap!
Correct.
What a. Anyway, but do you think the stock market would? Do you have any idea about how the market responded to that? Has there been any?
Well, well, of course, it's a mixed reaction because from the lenses of the investment community, it would be the business implications. Would there be, well, of course, if you look at it well, quite well, you look at the big picture, it's really, well, it's really investing into something that's long term in terms of both financial and intangible gains for the country. Because we all know, well, items pertaining to the law and well, especially related to the Pogo issue, that's something immeasurable. When it comes to upholding the law, protecting protecting the law, and as well as upholding the strong institutions of law. So that is, of course, there's some element of well, not compromising when it comes to the law enforcement, regardless of whether there's money entailed into it or not.
Okay.
So it's a positive thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Mike, what what issues would you have? What do you, that you would have expected the president to touch, but was missed in the SONA?
Well, actually, it's covered like the most pressing issues like well, related to rice, the reduction in import price tariff. It's effectively a 20% discount on imported rice. Maybe I'm just kind of course, we have made efforts already to reduce the import taxes on rice. So it's effectively at a 20% discount on imported rice. So definitely that's gonna trickle down to the masses. Now, of course, the way to ensure that is to, well, the reach of the law. Well, for of course the institutions of law to be present in the public markets, in supermarkets, in groceries, and in other stores to ensure that the, well, price laws are strictly adhered to, so that any reduction in import tariffs, we have seen that over a lot of that over the past 1 2 years would be well. There's some assurance that indeed it would be implemented and felt by the consuming public, and everybody else would really feel it. And that's really well the essence of the SONA. Uh, well, to communicate those things. Well, definitely, I've seen, of course, some well the highlights also on the need to bring down the cost of power, to increase renewable power investments. Of course, it had to do also with the, well, it's largely incumbent upon the private sector also to infuse. But yeah, I think they have done their part in allowing 100% ownership of in renewable power investments.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really, those are, because those are, well, from the point of view of investors, it's really, well, for a long time already that the power rates have been relatively higher here in the Philippines. And it's really about, well, if there would be greater effort to increase the supply of power, especially through renewable sources, to bring down the cost of power and make it more appealing for both local and foreign investors to locate and to set up shop in the country and create more jobs. So
Correct.
things like those, and related to the FDI as well, like the ease of doing business, enabled for, well, because we're competing with other countries, Vietnam, China, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. So on specifics on, because essentially it's the ease of doing business at the national level and also the LGU level. So those things enable for us to better compete with the other countries. Better specifics on those, because those are long-standing issues. Actually, power, FDIs, the ease of doing business. Those have been there for quite some time already, and we all know, of course, it's the presidency is limited to 6 years,
Correct.
and there are also other concerns like, well, other long-standing issues like whenever there are infrastructure projects, right-of-way issues. How would
He
this
did
be?
he did mention that about the
Yeah,
right
I
of way
mean,
problems.
yeah. It's really, I mean, it's they've been there, no?
Mm.
So, for a long time. So, yeah, of course, further details like changing, well, not changing the rules in the middle of the game, because of course, with the different administration, just to, well, for us, it's really, if should there be more specifics and more rallying points to really the action points that would be taken in able to really finally resolve these long-standing concerns and issues that would really help us a lot in attracting more foreign investments. Like also the dispute mechanism. Well, whenever there are cases, will there be special cases? Because we all know, other than the right of way issues, should there be arbitration? Should there be other litigation? Would there be something of an expedited? Yeah, I know. Well, we know in the past that there were really yeah, special courts, etc. So it's really putting specifics. So yeah, because yeah, there's already head start as to how to, well, in attracting, in inviting foreign investors and eventually convince them to come here. So it's really those things. I mean, putting really greater emphasis and being serious about competing on those different aspects among many others from the point of view of FDI, especially foreign investors coming into the country.
I see.
There are two things, sir, that I noticed, no, that was not mentioned at all. Which, but in the past, in the previous report, in the previous SONA, he did underscore. One is the Maharlika Investment Fund. Nothing seems to be. He did.
Yeah.
There was nothing mentioned on the
He said
MIF.
about that. Yeah.
And then I understand it's not even. It's not really even. They're just requesting approval for organization, the board. No. Well, they have formed a board, but they haven't started the organization, a formal organization of it. And then the other one is I noticed that what happened to well, Jesus Guerrero already said there will be no charter change. But the thing is, nobody seems to be explaining that from Congress, that the economic chart, that the charter that changed, that what we wanted to see is the charter change specifically on the economic provisions that was promised the investors to as to attract investors into the country. We promised that we would try to tweak or do something about the economic provisions. Ease of doing business is one thing, for instance, no? And then there are others. How do you react to that, sir?
Well, actually, actually, the realities of doing sauna, it should be popular and it should appeal to and of course easily understood by the common person in the street. So even what I discussed a while ago
Yeah,
related to investments will be kind of complicated
correct.
and
Yes,
maybe
yes.
lengthy to
Correct.
discuss, and
Uh-huh.
it could really uh, well I think what's really important is what's really felt by everyone, and items that have the greatest positive impact on the lives of as many people as possible.
Mm.
So yeah, those things. I mean, of course, we all know. Revising the economic provisions, anything that pertains to revising the constitution may not be as popular because all the sectors are there. I
Yeah.
mean, even of course, multi-sectors, even the religious communities, the church, and we all know the stance of for the for the past 20 to 30 years when it comes to revisions on the constitution or charter change. So, and of course, I think it's also important to also note that there have been other measures outside of revising the constitution, like the recent reform measures, like the 100% renewable power, 100% foreign
Well,
ownership, foreign ownership allowed in renewable power,
renewable
and the
energy.
Public Services Act that would complement on the various infrastructure projects,
Ah,
telcos,
Yeah.
railways,
Yes,
wage
yes.
that
care.
would,
Okay.
Mm.
yeah, like, and even the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, some revisions to it, and as well as the Foreign Investments Act for uh, foreign SMEs. So there have been already other solutions
Mm.
or alternative solutions rather than outrightly changing or revising the constitution because there's this inherent yeah, of course convincing that economic provisions could be one thing, but of course it's really if you look at the track record whenever there are proposals like these. So the other sectors are outrightly opposed
Correct.
on this because because it's always there's always that link not just on economic provisions but of course the the revising the tenures or the tenures rather
Mm.
for elected officials. So it's really anything controversial would preferably not be discussed, less inviting
Inviting.
criticism or so it's what's really the important ones that would have a positive impact on the lives and yeah of course uh, prevent the unnecessary distractions on issues such as these the controversial ones.
Okay, Mike,
Commercial break.
we will continue dichotomizing the speech, the address,
But
after
we
this
break for
commercial
yeah,
break.
we have a commercial break at this point. Okay.
Thank
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you. Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube. Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with...
Yeah, we are back with the special report on the State of the Nation address of President Marcos. So, Mike, Ted here wanted to know.
Yes, no, I was just saying that maybe the SONA is, the SONA is there. But other than SONA, we want to get your views on
The projection.
really rating the president's performance. Not we don't have so much time, but as much as we can, how would you rate the performance of the president in terms of the economy et al. In the first 2 years, in the first 2 years of his term. Now we are entering the third term.
Third year.
And by now, I think, there should be already a clear idea about where he wants to bring us in the economy, where he wants to bring the economy and the country, really, and where. What direction, of course, forward, but how? And so, for instance, are you satisfied with the growth performance of the economy under the stewardship of the president?
Well, I think even to start with, we had different sets of economic team members over the past 1 to 2 years, and transitioning from the previous administration, so they know what to do. They have this complete list of what needs to be done, and they're keenly aware of the most important reform measures and priorities that must be addressed. This has been ongoing, all of this. That's why that's been what I've been also pointing a while ago. Although, given the time limit also, and of course, some of which may require the discussion with technocrats, with professionals, and with experts, rather than, because this one is addressing to where everyone would understand, from regardless of age, of educational attainment or economic status. So they would really understand, especially the common concerns. So it's really focusing on those, no? And definitely they know. They know even, well, it's really example, the tangible ones, the highlighting the need to use renewable power up to the irrigation facilities that's powered by solar. Those are things that are really important to highlight, and also to highlight more some of the similar things that are exciting, like having more power generated through those renewable powers and power sources. And we have seen success stories like in the EU. They're now producing more solar power than coal-fired power plants. So, and because they also don't want to rely too much on natural gas coming from Russia, or for that matter, it's really the general direction is for reduce carbon emissions. The thing is all actually consistent with, if you have put a trend into everything, different issues, whether it's geopolitics, economic, or related also to education, infrastructure, healthcare. It's really consistent with, for instance, ESG standards. The ESG meaning for the environment, for social and governance. We have seen already global regulators encouraging both international and local investors to patronage companies and governments that adhere to ESG standards, because ESG compliance and upholding ESG standards mean that also signal good business. That's good for business also. Well, even the key issues that were tackled, you may apply it all there. Like, for
Mm.
instance, in dealing with Pogo, so would it be consistent with ESG standards or not? So it's easily reconvened
Mm.
in that manner, and as well as the need to have more energy, electricity. Yeah, it's there in dealing with China in disputed waters. So we also have to adhere with the internet. Well, because but the Philippines has well, at least other our authorities have been consistent locally that we would like to be friends of all and enemies to none.
Enemies to none.
So yeah, but of
Mm.
course the reality is there. Well, we need also some reassurance in the sense that because this is inevitable.
Mm.
If you have investors, whether foreign or local, especially FDIs,
Mm.
or even hot money portfolio investments, before they put billions of pesos or even billions of dollars into the country, that's part of their due diligence. They have to be, they have to also, part of their review, would there be a risk of war? And that's true for in any other investments, whether it's here in the country, in other ASEAN countries, or elsewhere around the world. So with the tensions recently in disputed waters, so definitely there would be some, they would be prompted. Oh, would there be a risk of war?
Mm.
Would their ability to make money as they pour in investments here, billions of pesos or dollars? Would that have an impact on their ability to make money, or would that translate to risk of losses? So that kind of reassurance is also needed to be emphasized. But of course, the position, in fairness, has always been clear. It just at least as far as the government is concerned, sometimes the exogenous factor there that's beyond our control is what China does. That's why, yeah, those are valid concerns. Those are the realities actually, and how would that also impact on trade because on tourism, on investments, and on another areas. But the thing is, what would really guide us, keep us grounded, is we adhere to international. So that's really important. In that way, over the long term, we will get the we will get the sympathy at the very least, and over the long term, the
Mm.
support of other like-minded nations that adhere to ESG standards in that way. And yeah, that would be good for us over the long term. Yeah, there may be some noises over the short term, some uncertainties because that's nagging question. Would there be a risk of war? Because
Correct.
it's the skirmishes,
Mm.
the close encounters. Of course, there are gray zone tactics here to prevent the technical,
It's true.
of course, triggering of the mutual defense treaty, and
Mm.
to prevent the, to prevent the risk of war, to prevent miscalculations on those. So yeah, those are very important things. Actually, in deciding also on, for instance, for Pongos, yeah, would it be consistent to ESG standards? So yeah, because on the S, the social function, it's human rights, and it's those are intangible things. Could
The human
rights be
cost.
violated,
Mm.
crimes committed? So violations of the law, whether local law, international law, and as well as it may not just be here, but also in crossing the borders because of other nationalities that may be involved. So yeah, that's why those are the guiding points. I mean, that's a good signal, actually. That's a
Uh,
good signal. Then there may be trade-offs, yes. As I mentioned a while ago, there may be quantification of lost employment, lost business opportunities like leases, rentals, and commercial areas. Uh, yeah, because the expats, of course, they rent, they lease, rent residential condos and other residential housing units and commercial areas, office space, commercial space, and so on and so forth. And the employment, the contractors, the potential revenues by the government, and the taxes collected, and so on and so forth. So the economic impact. But of course, sometimes it's really the principles, the underlying core principles, the ESG principles that really guide us. And if you look at it, it's a long-term thinking. Well, when it comes to long-term benefits, long-term returns for the country, yeah, yeah, there may be short-term costs and short-term adverse effects on loss opportunities, loss employment, loss livelihood, loss income. But the thing is, uh, yeah, but in the long term, if the branding of the country is we adhere to those ESG standards, including international law, upholding international law in both among sovereigns and also among even among well the locals and the expats. So yeah, that would definitely be a good sign in
Mike,
terms of maturing and adhering. Yeah, that because that's been the encouragement of both local and global regulators. Yeah, it's you don't yeah you know there are other concerns. It's ESG is a huge area, sustainability like. Reducing carbon emissions from the firm level. We're really getting also companies globally committing to reduce carbon footprint, carbon emissions, and enable to and well, in many other industries. You can imagine airlines, oil companies, and many traditional businesses making commitments on those to be just to
correct.
make sure they adhere to the environment, sustainability practices, and so on and so forth. So those are the guiding. Well, it does help to have to be guided by those, and you know, it's really planting the seeds, even when attracting investors, and you all know that at some point there will be harvest time. So it's planting the seeds. Where we invite them to come to the country, create more friends and allies. We also do our part, make yeah, doing business easier on all levels, national, local, and so on and so forth. So, and as we attract them, because our market is very attractive. Uh, the
Yeah.
biggest automaker in the world acknowledge that their sales globally, Philippines is the 10th largest. The big one of the biggest consumer goods company worldwide. Yeah,
Correct.
that's on a smaller scale, like shampoo, soaps, sachets in sachet form or other packaging. So their sales for the Philippines number also the 10th largest in the world. It doesn't come as a surprise because our population is 12th largest in the world.
Yeah.
So from
The
that
12
perspective,
largest.
yeah, if you're a global company, you want to be part of the action, you want organic growth, you must be here in the Philippines.
You,
So it's really a
you
matter
must
of
be part.
creating that more conducive environment. Yeah, that because that's a role, the enabling environment, maybe some incentives if it's feasible. Although our neighboring countries, they have done that to make it more appealing. Just got feedback also from my regional counterparts and peers that, yeah, like for instance, in other ASEAN countries, they do provide subsidies for MSMEs related to, well, in many areas, in various industries and also in agriculture.
Agriculture.
So yeah, that level of support is also there. But yeah, but we all know it's not sustainable, and globally, in the free trade world, that is also seen by our trading partners if there will be undue advantage due to subsidies. So it's really the use of technology that would, well, the best technologies available because there are gaps. For instance, in agriculture, true. Uh, there's still a need. Agriculture employs 20 to 25% of our total workers, and but it only contributes 9% of the economy. So there's that
Well,
mismatch,
the
and
mismatch.
you know that's one of the largest employers. So if there's still a need to use because technology would really work wonders for any country. Yeah, for instance, use even plain mechanization, just plain mechanization. But of course, it's really better to level up with like the higher yielding seeds, yeah, the resilient varieties. That would bottom line there is to really boost production and reduce costs. No, at the same time, so therefore there would be increased supply by harnessing the best technologies around. I am talking about countries with the best technologies that are self-sufficient in many ways, not just in agriculture, the likes of Israel, Taiwan, because sometimes they're really forced to do it. They have to be resilient. They have to be sufficient, not just in agriculture, but in defense,
and
in
everything.
manufacturing industries. Because it could mean, yeah, they have enemies. So it's that's part of for them to thrive, and they have successfully, for instance, Israel is even exporting fruits to Europe despite limitations on fertile land and water,
Yes,
because they've
correct.
used greenhouses, they've used technology, GMO. Yeah, they've used the best technologies to boost output, and that would lower the cost. And if that is all, well, of course, on top of the storage facilities, irrigation, the infrastructure like farm to market roads, and of course, digital infrastructure, the digital
Yeah,
marketplace
correct,
for
correct.
farmers. That's a great potential in the future. If more farmers would eventually be, of course, there would be intervention measures, maybe through cooperatives, to the Department of Agriculture, and some intervention to really force, to really make it compulsory uh, to really use the best technologies and the digital marketplaces to plan accordingly the demand and supply of the country for agricultural products,
Correct.
avoiding uh, bump very overproduction or even shortages. So it's really it's using technology also in food processing to yeah,
Processing.
that could even be sold nationwide and exported. So the challenge now would be to on the logistics side, because it's perishable. So the challenge of bringing it to countries that have needs, as against from areas and regions that have surpluses. So
Yeah.
it thinks I see great potential, and also in many other businesses. We'll all move there, and even in manufacturing, because manufacturing employs 15% of total workforce. It contributes about uh, more than 20% of the economy,
The
close to 30.
20%, I would say.
Yeah, so it's really
So,
using the best technology also to boost output. Because the bottom
yeah.
line there is we increase the output, it's become more efficient, and at the same time reduce the cost and reduce the selling prices. And we could even, yeah, you just
That's
like
true.
our neighboring countries, yeah, for agriculture, manufacturing, they're able to export. And at the same time, uh, it's really, it's making
Sector
those are the missing
competitive.
pieces of the puzzle of the development in terms of more inclusive growth, increasing the incomes, and our per capita income is around $4,200. So comparing it to in our more developed ASEAN countries, it's 10,000, 20,000, $30,000. That's why
We
there's
still
nowhere to
go
go
far.
but up, and in catching up mode. And so that's the way to do it. I mean, to make it more economic growth and development to be more inclusive. So yeah, the fastest way is technology. This is what the favorite. This is a favorite analogy that I give for technology. For instance, about 30 years ago, Jeff Bezos started in his garage. He borrowed more than $200,000 from his parents, and yeah, he started just selling books online. Now he's one of the
Amazon.
wealthiest persons in the world, one of the highest market cap, Amazon, and they're
Yes.
selling into everything
Amazon.
already. So leveraging technology, digital, online businesses, that's the way to go,
True,
especially for
true.
MSMEs. Even as I said, they know that already. Even during the APEC, how to make MSMEs part of the online businesses, the ecosystem for online businesses, for e-commerce, is to for them to encourage them, say, to be in TikTok as a marketplace. So they know what to do actually. It's really a
Yeah.
matter of, and now for the farmers, how can they be more engaged in the digital market? How can
Okay.
yeah, it's really I was just excited with some parts like the one that I mentioned, irrigation, so on. So it's really harnessing technology in many ways, and for many items, and replicating all of that, it would really contribute into greater productivity and reduce costs, and that would lead to more incomes, more people being lifted out of poverty. The latest poverty rate already improved 15%, because it's already exactly a year ago. It's already the anniversary of the lifting of the COVID state of public health
Yeah.
emergency. No more
Correct,
COVID
correct.
restrictions for exactly a year. That has helped especially the businesses and industries that were hit hard, like tourism, other services. So the growth trajectory is there, the recovery is there. In fact, tourism, so that's a low-hanging fruit. Last year, 5.5 million foreign tourists. So now, this year, the estimate is 7 billion. It's still below the pre-pandemic, but it's moving there. Look at how does the Philippines compare with our neighboring countries? It's 3 to 5 times higher. Like, for instance, in Thailand, it's 40 million per year. As we came from 5.5
That's
million.
tourism.
Yeah, tourism, it's a low-hanging fruit. It's a
So,
and our greatest asset, we don't have much land, we don't have
so
commodities like oil, but
yeah.
it's our people. Our greatest asset, world largest population. That's why the global banks, they see potential in us. We would notch higher. Now we're number 34 in terms of GDP.
Okay.
More almost $450 billion
Glad to hear.
last
So,
year. And 2 years ago, we were number 38. So we're moving in the
We're
right
moving
direction. We're catching up
sir,
mode.
in the right direction.
so sir, so in terms from 1 to 10, how would you rate the president's SONA in terms of inspiring Filipinos? I mean, in general.
Well, in fairness, I can't really give a number to that, in fairness, because sometimes it's really planting the seeds, and sometimes it will really take some time
Yeah.
to nurture that, for that to bear fruit, like
Ah,
planting fruit trees or whatever, that will take time. So it's kind of premature for me to give a rating outright. But they know what to
But
do. That's the bottom line.
in terms of the tonality, in terms of the message that he imparted on the contents of his SONA, would you say it was inspiring to hear for the people?
Yeah, for the ordinary person, yes, but it's really designed that. But talking to technocrats, to
Yeah.
experts,
that's true.
to professionals,
That's
it's
us.
an
So
entirely
that's a
different
bottom
thing.
line.
Yeah.
Anyways,
For me, yeah, actually, to simplify things, it's
Ah,
the art of simplifying even the most important ones that
yeah.
could be felt by the ordinary people, that,
Yes.
especially those near to their gut.
So in that
Like,
aspect, he succeeded.
yeah, I
In
think
that
they know.
aspect, he
In
succeeded.
fairness, they actually, uh, as I said, it's not really the first time. I monitor this every day. So it's just
Right.
highlighting the specific ones and what to really emphasize, what to
underlining.
really prioritize.
Oh, yeah.
So in a
Okay.
simpler manner, that's implementable, that's actionable. And
Hmm.
it's really, at the same time, not missing the point because of many other issues. Just highlighting the most important uh, priorities, the most important things that matter most to the greatest number of people, and eventually
Hmm.
that would have the greatest positive impact on as many lives as possible.
That's
So
true.
Yeah.
yeah, we all feel those items that we feel every day.
So, Mike,
So
we have to let you go.
Because
That was a very comprehensive
yes, very comprehensive, and we have unfortunately
review of
so
the sauna.
so little
So we
time.
really
Yes.
thank you for.
But
We're
you,
really glad that you joined us. Thank you
thank
yeah,
you
very
very
for
much,
me,
much.
just
Mike.
if I may cut very quickly elevator
Okay.
pitch that other I highlighted something on the tourism as of course
Mm.
for remittances we're number 4 in the world, $40 billion,
In terms of
and
what, sir?
uh, we're RW remittances, remittances
OFW
to
Of the
Philippines.
remittances, yeah, okay.
RW
Yeah,
remittances.
we're number 4 in the world after India, Mexico, and China.
Mexico.
We're number
Mm.
4.
Number
We're
4,
the
akala ko
biggest
number 1.
source of seafarers, 20 to 25% here. And now the accreditations have been fixed, especially with the EU. And now nurses, Philippines, at least 20% coming from the Philippines. And
We're
BPO, we're
everywhere.
number 2 in the world. That's earning more than $35 billion per year. And now it's employing 1.8 million. 20
Correct.
years ago, exactly, 2004, it was just 100,000 employees and just $1 billion. Now it's still growing. The industry association is seeing more than $50 billion
Uh,
for the next 5 to 6 years, and another 700,000 jobs to total 2.5 million. So that's unique to the Philippines. And it's now
that's true.
going to the regions because they would, it's a win-win for everybody. The clients, the foreign those who outsource,
Mm.
they get to save more if they go to very promising regions like Bacolod, Iloilo, Davao, again, the Oro, Dumaguete, and many others because they would save more, lower cost of living, and it's a win-win because the townships they locate normally where there's a clustering of colleges and universities. Where in customer service, the Philippines is number 1. Number
True.
one, and that's 70 to 80% of BPOs. And look at the biggest banks in the world; they have already located here. Look at BGC. I pass by there almost every day. It's just grass 10 years ago. Now the locators are there; it's already filled up. So property prices are very high. Also, it's a manifestation of
That's
the
a
strong
trade-off.
economy. Yeah.
I see.
Although that's the cost of development. Considering we're excited also with infra because the subway hopefully it will be finished in a few years time, 2028, 2029, thereabouts. So yeah, that's the first one, and that's a Philippine story that everybody's counting on because we have favorable demographics. We're the last when it comes to demographic sweet spot or majority of the population or the majority of the population working age with relatively young average age of 25 years old. That's why we're one of the fastest growing countries because we're last. Japan was 50 years early, Hong Kong and Singapore 1980, South Korea 1985, China 1990. Other ASEAN countries were ahead by 10 to 20 years. Now it's the moment of the Philippines. That's we're coming from a low base, so
Fantastic.
that's
Yeah.
why economic growth should be high to really catch up on the per capita income. $4,200 moving towards middle income country status and catching up with much higher 10,000, 20,000, $30,000 in average for developed ASEAN countries. So that's the Philippine story. That's the view by 2050 to 2075, it's moving towards that direction. For the
Let's
next 10 or so years, economic growth of 6 to 7%.
so
Because the other economies, they have already, you've seen the Asian reactors. Now it's the turn of the Philippines. So it's really a matter of having conducive policies to really enable this an
those
environment that would engender and that would eventually be feasible for many businesses and industries to grow, both local and foreign investors.
so
Fantastic.
let's look
Thank you
forward to
very
that.
much. Yeah.
Thank
On
you.
that note, sir, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for
Thank
your
you,
time
Mike.
and your thoughts.
I hope we can get you again for
Much longer.
much longer.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Also, it's an
Thank you.
honor to
Thank
be
you very much.
with you again with Contribute.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Contribute.
Till next time.
Good night.
Good
Till
night.
next time. Thank you.